In the shadow of the accursed mountains, where the stone towers called Kulas have stood for centuries, history is etched into the very rock. Dardan and his sister Zaina grew up listening to the echoes of their ancestors in the mountain wind. They lived in a world of ancient codes and hospitality, where a guest was a sacred blessing and the land was a tapestry of Byzantine gold and Ottoman silk. By the 1990s, the air in Pristina grew heavy with a different kind of silence. Schools were shuttered, and the language of the majority was pushed into the shadows. Dardan and Zaina became part of a parallel world, attending secret classes in damp basements and private living rooms. They learned their history by candlelight, scribbling notes while the heavy boots of patrols thudded on the pavement outside. The spring of 1999 brought a darkness that the sun could not pierce. The sky hummed with the sound of planes, and the roads filled with the ghosts of a nation. Dardan gripped Zaina's hand as they joined a sea of people moving toward the border. They left behind their keys, their photographs, and the scent of baking flea, carrying only the weight of their names into the unknown. The border was a place of mud and wire, a liminal space where time seemed to stop. Dardan stood in the rain at the Blaze crossing, watching the trains arrive, overflowing with people who had lost everything but their breath. He looked back toward the mountains, wondering if the smoke on the horizon was the spirit of his home rising to the heavens. When the soldiers finally retreated and the borders opened, the siblings returned to a landscape of charcoal and ash. Their kula was a hollow shell, its roof surrendered to the sky. Zaina knelt in the ruins of their kitchen, sifting through the debris until she found a charred wooden cradle. It was a sign that while the wood could burn, the foundation of their besa, their word of honor, remained unshaken. Recovery was a slow, rhythmic dance of hammers and hope. In the heart of the capital, a massive yellow monument was erected, spelling out a single word, newborn. Dardan and Zaina joined the crowds, dipping their brushes into cans of bright paint. They weren't just painting letters, they were marking the birth of a country that had been whispered about for generations. But history leaves scars that no paint can fully cover. Zaina often visited the wall of the missing, her fingers tracing the long lists of names that had never come home. Each name was a hole in the fabric of the valley. She spoke to the names in the quiet of the afternoon, promising them that their absence would be a presence in everything the new nation built. Dardan found his peace in the Rugova Canyon, where the river still carved its way through the stone regardless of who claimed the banks. He realized that Kosovo was a bridge between eras, a place where Roman ruins, Serbian Orthodox frescoes, and Ottoman minarets lived in a fragile, beautiful tension. The land was older than the borders, and the mountains remembered everyone. February 2008 arrived with a cold wind and a heat in the heart. The Declaration of Independence was read, and for a moment, the entire world seemed to hold its breath. Dardan and Zaina stood in a crowded square, draped in a blue flag with 6 white stars. They felt the weight of the centuries lift, replaced by the terrifying, wonderful burden of being free. Today, the kula has been rebuilt, its stones reinforced with modern glass. Zaina sits on the terrace with a young boy named Aegon, showing him how to track the flight of the eagles. They are the children of the youngest state in Europe, a land of ancient stones and new beginnings. The promise made in the basement shadows has become a light that guides them into a future they finally own.